Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PSP emulation on Android with PPSSPP, and if you've got a Snapdragon CPU, you're gonna like this update. As of version 1.16.6-555, they've implemented custom driver loading for your Android devices, provided you've got a Snapdragon CPU. To check this one out, you'll have to go into your settings menu in PPSSPP and go to Tools and then Developer Tools. From here, scroll down to where you see Install Custom Driver, and well, here you go. If you don't see Install Custom Driver, it might mean one of two things. Number one, you don't have the latest version of PPSSPP. Or number two, you don't have an Adreno GPU and you can't take advantage of this feature. And as for these custom drivers, they can be found right on GitHub. I'll drop a link in the description below. You will have to scroll through here and pick up some that are specific to your device. And you may have to fiddle around to see what works best for you. They are 100% free. And to pick up the latest version of PPSSPP, head to ppsspp.org and click on Download. Once you are here, scroll down to where you see Automated PPSSPP Builds, and pick up the one at the top of the list. These are development builds, so some stuff might be broken. Now, for most people, you probably won't even need to use custom drivers, but if you're trying to upscale things and have things run as fast as possible, custom drivers might help you out. Moving on, and this one is kind of crazy and kind of impressive. Someone was able to get Grand Theft Auto 5 up and running with low settings at 720p. Via Mobox. Now the frame rate on this one and playability is kind of dismal. They say it runs between 12 to 15 frames per second in the open world and then crashes after about 15 seconds. Arguably it's not playable, but at the same time here it's impressive given the fact that this is Android. And this is not at all optimized for it. And speaking about GTA 5, next up here we're talking about something that's been talked about quite a bit today. And that's the full source code for GTA 5. Apparently, it's leaked. Now, the kicker here is that apparently this is the full source code. Back in 2022, some GTA 5 code leaked, but it was a small snippet, not the full deal. And included in that leak was an early GTA 5 map and script, which confirmed GTA 6 was codenamed as Project Americas. And there was also a Bully 2 file. So just when you think conversations about Bully 2 were dying down, I'm assuming there's going to be a whole bunch of brand new rumors surrounding this game. No idea if it's going to be released, if it was canceled, or what's going on with it. I'm not going to lie here, I am very curious to see what happens now because of this source code leak. I mean, Grand Theft Auto makes a ton of money for Rockstar, and they have very deep pockets, so I'm wondering what steps they're going to take here. But moving on, and next up we're talking about Continuum Mod Manager, and for those who may not be aware, Continuum Mod Manager is a game-agnostic mod manager and modification engine. It's free, it's open source, and it's on GitHub. If you are curious about this one, I'll leave a link to the GitHub in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. And if you wanted to know how to get this set up and running on Linux and even the Steam Deck, John Lagostini has just released a brand new video showing exactly how to do that. The game that was used in this example is Disney Infinity, but Continuum works with a whole bunch of different games and a whole bunch of different mods. And speaking about mods, next up we're talking about Final Fantasy VII on the Sega Saturn. And someone was able to port this game over to the system. It never officially released for the Sega Saturn. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. They are using Mednafin. As far as I know, this port is not complete, and it's more of just a demo. I don't have access to the Patreon to find out more information here. And I've got no idea if there's anything to download and try out. Either way, to me, this is pretty impressive and a glimpse into what could have been. And last up here, we're talking about the GameCube modding scene in Cubeboot Loader, and Trevor Rudolph has just unveiled the working Cubeboot Loader here. Apparently it will work with the GC Loader and even more. I mean, someone straight up asks if this can be used with GC Loader, SD, or Retro NAS. And Trevor says it will eventually work on all of them. GC Loader support is coming in the beta. They also made a drive replacement called Flippy Drive that is coming out in a few weeks. Now, for those who are not familiar with the GameCube modding scene, GC Loader stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, and at a super high level here, it allows playing homebrew games through SD card. And for those of you in the GameCube modding scene, I'll drop a link to Trevor Rudolph's Twitter account in the description below. I do recommend checking it out. And finally, this is a quick one here. If you've got an Analogue Pocket, they've just released firmware version 2.0. I'll drop a link to the firmware in the description below. For Game Boy here, they've added in custom palette support. For OpenFPGA, they've added in new display modes, and cores can now have different video aspect ratios when docked. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a few things today, not a whole lot considering it's the holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, Happy Holidays. Let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about today in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.